The Couple Next Door, written by Peg Lynch and starring Peg Lynch and Ethel Bunce.
Elinor, come on in.
Hi, dear. Are you busy?
No, indeed. I got the baby all bathed and fed, and he's sound asleep. In fact, you dropped in at a very propitious time. I just put water on for coffee.
Oh, wonderful. I was doing some marketing, and I thought, well, I'll just drop around and see how you are.
Good. Still living in the garage, as you can see.
When are you going to get into the house?
Oh, I don't know. It just seems to be one thing after another, really.
It's sort of chilly in here. Isn't it too cold for Betsy and the baby?
Well, it's too chilly for all of us, so what can we do? We just bundle up. Look at me, I got 3 sweaters on. Here, sit over here next to the electric heater.
Well, the neighborhood isn't the same without you.
Oh, I miss it, Elinor. Really, I didn't realize when we bought this property out here that we were going to be so far from everything. Have you met the people who bought our house?
Well, I've met her.
Did you like her? Well, where did you meet her?
I dropped over one day last week.
Uh-huh.
I went over and rang the doorbell, and she came to the door, and I said, Mrs. Clayton?
Uh-huh.
And she said, yes. And I told her who I was and that I was a friend and neighbor of yours and lived down on the corner. And she just looked at me and said, oh, yes?
Oh, no. Didn't she ask you to come in?
No. I said I realized that she was new in town and asked her if there was anything I could do. And she thanked me and said, no, not a thing. Oh, she was very polite, but that's all. So I just went on home again.
Isn't that funny? Well, I only met her once, and I thought she seemed sort of stuck up, you know.
Well, I don't know what she is, but I know what she's doing. She's ruining your house.
What do you mean?
Haven't you driven past?
No, what's happening?
Well, they've taken the porch off.
Taken the porch off? Why?
I don't know, but it's gone.
What happened to that beautiful wisteria that climbed all over the side of the porch?
Cut down. Oh, really, it just made me sick.
Oh, they destroyed that wisteria. Why, it takes years to get a wisteria tree like that. I'll bet that was 50 years old.
Well, it's gone.
Oh.
And I don't know what she's doing to the inside of the house. She said as soon as she got it in some sort of decent shape, she'd invite me over.
Get it in some sort of decent shape?
Something like that. And I don't think she meant just arranging furniture, because I could hear hammering and things being ripped out. Well, it just made me sick. I always thought that house was just darling the way it was.
Yes. Well, I thought they bought it because they loved it so.
Well, why don't you call her or just drop in and sort of find out what's going on?
Yes. Yes, I certainly will.
Why don't you make yourself a present of the world? Oh, never mind the gift wrapping. Simply keep your radio tuned to CBS Radio at all times, and you'll be in touch with just about everything of interest that's happening in the world. Now, because it is a network, CBS Radio can span oceans and break through language barriers to bring you immediate CBS News reports from wherever the big news is happening. Our network facilities enable you to visit leaders in science, industry, agriculture, politics, and the arts. The people who can speak with authority on the latest developments in their fields. Now, because it is affiliated with CBS Radio, the station you're listening to now can bring Broadway and Hollywood to any place you happen to be, so you can enjoy the best entertainment show business has to offer. Make yourself a present of the world. Here on CBS Radio, it's a gift you'll enjoy day after day.
The Claytons are also doing something drastic to the back of the house. There's lumber outside and workmen.
Yeah, well, I hope they have more luck than we are in getting the place finished.
Don't you even care what's happening to our old house?
No, why should I care? It's their house now. Let them do what they want with it.
I don't understand it. They bought it because they liked it.
Well, they apparently want to make a few changes. Are we going to have any dinner tonight?
And I think of them cutting down that wisteria tree, really.
Dinner?
Oh, it's in the oven. Honestly, I haven't been able to think of anything else all day. I really haven't.
Honey, don't worry about it, so will you? It's their house now.
I don't care. I would certainly like to know what they're doing to it. Why don't we call them?
What for?
Well, just to be neighborly, friendly.
You don't sound very friendly toward Mrs. Clayton right now.
Well, I'd like to see what they're doing, wouldn't you?
Well, no, to be honest, not especially. I really don't give a darn. But I do agree that we probably should have called them, yes.
Why don't we call them tonight? Better yet, why don't we just drop in?
Oh, honey, you know how people hate dropping in on you without calling.
Well, if we call, she may not ask us over. I told you what she said to Elinor.
Well, maybe she doesn't want any company until the place is fixed up.
Well, when will that be? I think we should be neighborly now. Dropping in, say we just happened to go past, wondered how they were making out, that sort of thing.
Well, you are just determined to see the inside of that house, aren't you?
I am merely thinking of the polite thing to do.
Yeah, sure.
What do you think?
I think we should mind our own business and stop worrying about what the Claytons are doing to our old house. They bought it, it's theirs. Let them have it.
Dear, the point is...
The point is I am too tired tonight to dig up a babysitter and go visiting and then drive the babysitter back home. I mean, we're so far out now, I doubt if we can get a babysitter anyhow.
That's all arranged.
Huh?
Elinor said Fred was home tonight, so if we wanted to call on the Claytons, she'd be glad to come out and stay with Betsy and the baby. Well, she said she would.
Oh, I see. Elinor can't stand it either, huh? Not knowing what the Claytons are doing to the inside of the house.
Well, naturally.
Oh, boy, you women are a Pete.
Well, if you don't want to go, if you haven't any curiosity, then I'll manage to drop in on Mrs. Clayton sometime tomorrow. I mean, if you don't want to...
Look, I don't want to particularly. No, I haven't got any curiosity at all about it. But if you insist on going tonight, I will sacrifice everything. I will go. Only because I think we probably should have called on them before this.
Sure. I'll call them right now.
What if she doesn't invite us over?
I got that figured out, too. I just thought of something.
What?
I'll wait and see if it works, and I'm sure that it will.
Oh, I'm sure it will, all right. Boy, when a woman makes up her mind to do something, she does it. Well, good evening, good evening. Come in. Oh, Phyllis. Phyllis, the Pipers are here.
Oh, hello. How nice to see you, Mrs. Piper, Mr. Piper.
Oh, it seems funny to walk up and ring what was our own doorbell for so many years. Oh, but we can't stay.
No.
But as I told you on the phone, I did want to bring you a little something, Mrs. Clayton, just to say welcome.
Well, it's certainly very nice of you.
Oh, it's nothing, really. We were in Boston last spring, and I picked up some lithographs of the Old North Church to frame, and I thought you might like one in your colonial house here.
Oh, how charming of you. Well, thank you so much.
Oh,
but I'm afraid we aren't going to be quite as colonial as you were, Mrs. Piper. As you can see, we're going to be a little more modern, but I am delighted with the lithograph. I know I'll find some place to hang it.
Oh, good.
Well, how have you been, Piper?
Oh, fine, thanks, Clayton. How's everything going with you?
Oh, good. You see, as you can see, the house is in kind of a mess. We're making quite a few changes.
Yes. My goodness, I hardly recognize the place with the porch gone.
Well, I certainly think it improves the front of the house, don't you?
Well, of course, I loved the wisteria, so when it blossomed, it was just this mass of heavenly bloom. Mrs. Clayton, I think if you'd seen it...
Dear,
really,
Mrs. Clayton has her own ideas.
Well, I think it made the living room entirely too dark, having all those vines outside.
It rots the wood in the house. You know, to have those vines climbing all over.
Oh, yes, I guess it does.
Of course, we love the house. Just love it.
Oh, I'm so glad.
And we were going to wait a while before we did anything to
it. And then I said to Phyllis, let's get the place in shape. So we just set the plans, and I think we're going to have a pretty nice place when we're through.
Of course, we love the house. But there were things that just had to be done. We've ripped out 2 partitions upstairs, so that instead of having 2 little cubbyhole bedrooms, we now have one nice big room for the 2 boys. And I'm knocking out that whole wall in the dining room and extending it, and then putting in French doors.
Oh, yes. Well, that ought to be nice.
Yes, I think it will be beautiful. If there's anything I hate, it's a dark, dingy dining room. We do a great deal of entertaining. At least we will, as soon as we get the place presentable.
Yes. Well, we didn't entertain a great deal. Dining room was big enough for us, I guess, wasn't it, dear?
Well, yes, it seems so.
Well, then we're knocking out that wall and putting a door in there and building a porch in the back.
A nice modern porch, 25 by 30, isn't it, dear?
Yeah, just about that, yeah. That's going to be combined with a flagstone terrace, outdoor grill, that sort of thing.
Yeah, it's a pretty big porch, isn't it? And with a terrace, doesn't it sort of run into the rock garden?
Oh, yes, that's all coming out. I told the man today to start digging out the rock.
Yeah, those 2 evergreens will have to go, too. Of course, they're really too close to the house anyhow. You're cutting down the evergreens?
Oh, we have to. And we're cutting down some of the other things that are too close to the house.
John and I like a light, airy, sunshine house. And the minute you get too many trees and too many shrubs, you've got a dark house. I said that the minute I saw this house, didn't I, John? I said, that's the first thing we'll do. I have to have sunshine.
That's right, sweetie. One thing about Phyllis, she knows exactly what she wants. First day we moved in, she said, we'll rip out this, rip out that, extend that wall, put a door in there.
Yes. Well, I think it'll be lovely when you get through, Mrs. Clayton.
Well, we're terribly excited about it. Would you like to see the changes we're making in the kitchen?
Oh, yes, I'd love to.
Every one of those rocks in that rock garden, I personally went out in the country and dug out with my own bare little hands.
Honey, dear. Oh, he's just joking.
That rock garden represents 8 years of back-breaking labor. I know how you feel, Mr. Piper. I said to Phyllis, it's a darn shame, but these things have got to go.
Of course they do. Come on, dear. Mrs. Clayton's going to show us the other changes they're making. We're just so glad you're happy with the house.
Oh, we are. Of course, the minute I saw the house, I knew it had marvelous possibilities.
Possibilities?
Come on, dear. Come on. Let's see what else they're doing, darling.
Then they are digging up my rock garden that I spent 8 years. 8 years, Elinor.
I know. I remember how hard you worked
You
on
remember?
that.
Yeah, now just calm down, dear. There's nothing we can do about it. Thanks for staying with the children, Elinor.
Oh, that's all right.
Yeah, what did she mean by saying about those, 2 cubbyhole bedrooms upstairs? That's what she said. I don't remember they were such cubby holes.
Darling, now
they were
don't
plenty
get
big enough.
so upset. Good night, Elinor.
Good night,
What
dear.
was so dark and dingy about our dining room, for heaven's sake? The sunshine just poured into that room.
Darling, say good night to Elinor.
Saying the house had possibilities. Good night, Elinor.
Good night, and you have my sympathy.
Thank you, dear. I'll
I tell
call
you,
tomorrow.
it's a sacrilege. It's an absolute sacrilege to cut down those trees.
Dear, it is their house now.
Yeah.
They bought it. That's what you said to me yourself, remember? Huh?
Oh, yes, I know. I tell you, people should never get friendly with the people they buy a house from. It just doesn't work. I mean, this proves it never. It just doesn't work.
I know, dear, I know. It was serious.
All the
Well,
years.
come on, let's get to bed. It's
All
late.
the years I lugged rocks
I know,
for
you
that
went way
rock
out
garden.
the
I
quarry down
drove out.
Are weekdays work days for you? Well, in that case, we invite you to join us on CBS Radio, where any number of entertaining people are on hand to provide you with fun and companionship, even as you do your daily chores. Howard Miller, for example, turns up on most of these same stations day after day with delightful new songs to play for you. He's never without the latest word on popular music, either. And whether he's chatting about a tune or playing one, Howard Miller is always a joy to hear. As your host on House Party, Art Linkletter makes time fly for you, too. He makes all of his visitors feel at home so that you get to know them as people. And all the time the fun's going on, there's human interest, too. So make friends with people from all over America at the biggest party in the world, CBS Radio's House Party, where Art Linkletter is your host. And any old work day, why, it's a perfect day to have a ball. The Couple Next Door is written by Peg Lynch and stars Peg Lynch and Ethel Bunce, with Dorothy Duckworth, Carl Frank, and Catherine Miskow, and is produced by Walter Hart. Remember to listen tomorrow to The Couple Next Door.